Solving absolute value equations. Solving absolute value equations is very similar to radical equations. We have to always check our answers when we solve this equation. So when we solve these equations, you have to remember, consider that this expression inside here could be positive, or it could end up to be a negative negative expression. So we have to consider that when we solve an absolute value equation. So to set this up, what we want to do is we have to consider two different cases. We have to solve two different equations here. One where this expression is going to be positive, and then a second case where this expression is going to be negative. So we're going to set up our first case. Case 1. We are going to consider this expression to be positive. So when we solve this, the entire absolute value signs disappear, and we're considering this case. So technically, to make this entire thing a positive isn't going to change anything here. So we're just left with an x plus 5 equals 4x minus 1. And what we end up with is a very simple linear equation. We're going to bring our x's to one side, our numbers to the other side. This is a 3x, 5 plus 1 is a 6. I'm going to solve this equation, x equals 2. Now, with absolute value equations, extraneous roots can occur as well, just like rational equations and radical equations. So we have to check this answer. You have to always do a check. So I'm going to take the absolute value of 2 plus 5 should equal 4 times 2 minus 1. This would give me the absolute value of 7. This would be 8 minus 1. Absolute value of 7 is 7. This would equal 7. So this is going to check out. So I'm going to go back up. I'm going to highlight this answer and say this is good. All right, now we have to consider a second case. So our second case means that this expression could potentially all be negative. So I'm going to make this apply a negative to this entire expression inside the absolute value sign, and then solve this equation. So what's going to happen is this is going to change to a negative x, a minus 5 equals 4x minus 1, and then we're going to solve this equation. So again, we're going to move our x's to one side, our numbers to the other side. 4x plus x leaves me with a 5x. Negative 5 plus 1 leaves me with a negative 4. I'm going to divide both sides by 5, and x is equal to 4/5. Well, again, I have to check this answer. Okay, so when I check this, I'm going to take the absolute value of negative 4/5 plus 5. This should equal 4 times negative 4/5 minus 1. Well, on this side, we end up with approximately a negative 4.2. On this side, we get the absolute value of 4.2. But when I take the absolute value of this, we end up with a positive. On this side, we have a negative. Therefore, these are definitely not equal to each other. So I need to come back here, cross out this answer. This does not actually satisfy the equation. This negative 4/5 is called our extraneous root. So my only solution to this equation would be x is equal to 2. So lots of work to get to the answer, but it's very important that you check all of your answers and you're always setting up two cases.